Seahawks. Other than that, I think the only remaining big question is why, once again, Joey, like I don't fully disagree with a whole ton on your list, but you don't have the Eagles on your list again. And I want to know what, I guess, let me ask you this. What gives you more faith in, say, the Packers than the Eagles? Because you have the Packers
I'm
number
giving the
7.
Packers. I'm giving the Packers the edge off their. They have one loss on the year, right?
Yeah.
But I got to give them the edge. I would imagine. I don't know. For me, that Packers had nothing really to do with this. For me, it comes down to this past week. We saw Scatterby break his ankle. Saw a bad Giants. The Giants quit after that.
They did.
And I'm not gonna let a dominant win against the Giants move me and have them move into my top 10.
So I guess you.
So this is where I'm genuinely curious, right? For the chat, you don't have him at 10. Where do you put the Eagles? From 0 to 32, what's the number for you, Joey?
Let me look real quick. Let me look at the standings.
While he looks, I'll remind the Eagles lost to the Giants and the Broncos. And their good wins are against the Rams, Chiefs, and Buccaneers. Now, questionable, but
I
they
got
did win.
And also, too, it was like we didn't know what that Cowboys team was week 1, but they did lose Micah. So it's like I feel like because of that and the hype that was that trade, everyone was like, oh, they just basically threw their defense out the window. When it was like they were solid and they were fully healthy. And they did
I got him at
stop the
15.
run. At 15.
Wow. Who's 14?
Yeah, that's exactly what my next question is going to be. So the 4 teams you have, let me see if I can guess it. Let me see if I can. I'm assuming one's going to be the Jaguars.
Correct.
Okay. Another one's probably going to be the Niners.
Okay.
Correct.
Another one's probably going to be, and this is just me knowing you.
AFC, I'll give you that hint.
Is it the Ravens?
Both. No.
Oh,
No, he's going to say the Chargers.
Chargers.
Correct.
Okay. So
Danny, you're 3 for 3. What's my last team?
It's still the AFC, right?
Yep. It's the only other team in playoff contention that I left off.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
the Steelers.
Correct.
Sorry, Danny.
No, you believe me, I was there. I was right there. I was
Okay.
there.
I'm really impressed, Danny, that you went 3 for 3 just off the top of your head.
And that's me knowing you because of the fact of the type of play that they are in. And the only reason why that I will ever disagree with the Niners is because what they have right now is not sustainable. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
it's really not. So it's like, you know what I mean? And also too now with
Just
the
like Mac
Jaguars.
Jones.
Yeah, it's just Mac Jones. Then let's see, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, I love T-Law, I love ETN. I'm a big Clemson guy. I think Thomas Jr. is having a little bit of a fluke ish going on. I think Travis Hunter is on his high right now. There's apparently talks about Brian Thomas Jr. getting traded.
Yeah, what?
So it's like, huh?
I said, yeah, like what? Like what are they thinking over there?
Like, that would be absolutely wild. And if he did, please go to the Commanders, and then my fantasy teams would be broken.
Oh.
But
Hold on, I want to stop you there. We have an Eagles fan hoping the Commanders trade for Brian Thomas.
Let's get him on the Giants.
No.
yes, 100%. That would be like,
That would be sick.
Part of my thing with the Jags is I think their defense is better than what they've showed us recently. And we saw Travis Hunter break out in, even though it was a blowout, he broke out in London. And I want to continue to see what he does the rest of the year next to Brian Thomas. We need Brian Thomas to turn it around. That's what it comes down to.
I think
But I like Liam Cohen.
I like Liam Cohen.
and then for me personally, I feel like why you like the Steelers is because one of the names that are on there, and two, the productivity that they've had besides this last game against the Packers. But again, you know, it seems like you and I are both in belief of like the Packers didn't win that game. The Steelers really lost that game. So
Correct.
so
Steelers lost because they played not to win. They played not to lose.
That's what my whole thing was during that game. They were at home. That's why I was so confused seeing how
the
the
Packers.
played.
We're gonna get destroyed. That's what they're thinking. We better not lose this game.
So
I
for
think
me,
a
it's like
topic
that's
of
the only
conversation.
why I will ever disagree with that stuff, because it's like all it takes is one big game. Like Eagles beat the Lions or Eagles beat the Packers, and it's just like everyone's gonna start glazing, like, oh my god, the Eagles are back. And it's just like, no, we've been a top 5 team in the NFC. And it's like, that's just what it be.
You guys for real just gotta stay healthy and figure out what the hell your play calling is, and you'll be a top 5 team. It's just the only way I'm not leaving them out of my top 10 because of the sheer logic of why I have the Packers like in the top 5 is the same reason why the Eagles are in there. I don't think the Eagles have looked like all that great. I don't think the Vikings are like this good team right now, so playing them close wasn't great. I mean, the Giants, like if Scadaboo's healthy in that game, like, and that fumble, like, let's be real. I mean, I'm not gonna force you to say anything, Dan, but that should have been a fumble, and it should have been Giants ball, and they probably would have scored. The game should have been closer. There were a lot of things that assisted the Eagles. Now they didn't have AJ Brown, which kind of to me was like, okay. I mean, yeah, the Giants had some injuries too, but this is where we're starting to see the Eagles' adaptability, which is what you need. You need this full roster. We lost someone, that's okay. We're not going to lose because of that. And I don't know. I could say, anything you say about Jalen Hurts, you could probably say about T-Law and a lot of these guys in this range. And I don't know. To me, it just seems like, if you're gonna base it off something, like just pick one position group. I usually pick trenches when it comes to ranking teams. The Eagles, they don't have Cam Jurgens right now, but they're still blocking it up. Saquon will be healthy after the bye. Like, I don't know. I have faith, but I will admit though, there hasn't been a pretty win this whole year. I mean, that Rams game took 2 crazy blocks in the fourth quarter to win. The Bucks, you start off with a blocked punt touchdown, and the Chiefs, it was just kind of a questionable game. They didn't have Rice, so it's kind of like I want to see that like beautiful win for the Eagles. So I can sympathize with Joey when it comes to that, but I sympathize with you, Dan. They're definitely talented enough, and they definitely got yeah.
One thing I'll say to your point was, because like for example, last year was a big reminiscent of it. Like we did have these great like play calls and everything, but the Falcons game we had week 2 when Saquon dropped the ball, we took that loss. It was also an extremely close game. The Bucks game that we played last year against them, an extremely close game, but we also lost. So it was like there's like I feel like it's like a similar script, but a lot scarier because it's not Kellen Moore calling the plays. It's Patullo. So it's like you have this week bye that's going to go by. We're going to develop as a team. And it's like right after the bye from last year, we fired on all cylinders. We were cooking through the playoffs into the Super Bowl. So it's like, one thing I'll say is like, we'll see the bye. We'll let the bye go through. And I definitely would want to have a serious talk about what it is we look like that first game after the bye.
Yeah.
Danny, I'll tell you this. For my ranking of the Eagles to change, it's all going to hinder on November 16th when you play the Lions. Beat the Lions, and I'll have no choice but to add them into my top 10.
I mean, they got to be top. They got to jump crazy, though, if they beat the Lions.
They would. They would have to be undisputed top 5 team if they can do that.
Yeah. But it's just going to take that. Nothing else. Okay?
That's all it's going to take.
Probably going to wait for something similar. I mean, looking at the Eagles' schedule.
You guys play the Cardinals, I think, next, and or something like that, and I'm not putting any stock into these teams.
They play the Packers.
Yeah,
they play the
agree.
Packers after a bye. They play the Packers after a bye, and then the Lions.
Packers and the
Actually, that'll be a good game to judge. That would probably, if you guys can
that'll make you
the
top
Packers,
10. The Lions will be top 5. I understand. I can see
Correct.
it.
What if they split? What if they beat one of these teams and lose to the other? How does that make you feel, Joey?
Me? Oh, Joey.
Depends on how they lose and how they win.
That's
I need to see a dominant. I need to see a dominant performance is what I'm asking for. I want to see 4 quarters of dominant football from the Eagles. Because last year, that's all we saw from them. Last year was just BTA versus every team. So that's what I'm waiting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and I said the same thing. I didn't say it like that, but that's what I was saying. I want to see that. I want to see them destroy someone, and I feel like it hasn't been there. But